Okay, welcome to part 19 of my Learning Unreal Engine tutorial series. We took a little bit of a break after we got through the Lightswitch, and I'm also now switching this from my main channel to this Unreal Engine exclusive channel. It just makes things a little bit easier and helps me focus in on the people that actually want to watch the Unreal Engine videos. I am really happy to be making them, but I know that a lot of people that watch my main channel don't necessarily want to watch those, so I figured I wouldn't bother them with that. That's why we're here. But to get started, we are just going to quickly learn how to make a button. And the reason why I'm teaching this is because the project that we're going to be working on is how you change materials on the fly. So you hit play, you can walk into a trigger box, buttons pop up, you click the buttons, the material changes. So this is the first step towards creating that. And then after that, I'm going to get into how to import SketchUp, Blender, and all the other fun stuff. So I hope that you will continue to watch this series, and I hope you learn something. So we're going to go blueprint and maximum quality, ray tracing disabled, starter content. That all looks good. I'll call this TUT 19 easy button. Okay, now that we're in, we're going to create two widgets. So we're going to call this one button, and we're going to call this one text, whatever. So go into button, horizontal box, just drag this something, I don't know, this can be like right here. And from there, we'll just type in button, drag this in, and we'll hit fill. So it's already, the button's coming together. Let's also drop text into this that says, click me. And let's make this red. Okay, so compile it, save it. That one's done for now. Let's hop into text now. And we'll do the same thing. So horizontal box. And then we will do text again. Drag this in, fill, horizontally align, vertically align. And we'll turn this up to something like this. And let's just type that was easy. Okay, so something that is a little bit weird about making buttons in Unreal Engine is that we are going to call this from the level blueprints as we've been doing with the other widgets, but there's an extra step that we have to do. So we want to make it so that if someone clicks on this button, then a different widget will be called. And for reasons that I don't completely understand why this is like this, but the blueprints cannot directly call a widget. I think it has something to do with when the level opens up, that's where the level blueprints are created. And at that time, technically the widget has not been created, so it can't call it. Something like that. But what we can do is that we can go blueprint class, we'll just call game mode base, and then we'll call this event game mode. I don't know. It can be, this part doesn't really matter. You can name it whatever you want. So let's go back into button for a moment. Click on the actual button here. So button 42, you can rename it if you want. I'm not going to bother. And just for this part, I'm going to go to events. So you click on the button and scroll down, pressed, and then this will pop up. Once we are here, you grab the event construct. So I believe this should be loaded in. If not, just right click and add it in. We're going to go set show mouse cursor. You can drag off the target itself and get player controller. And then this is going to be set input game, set input mode game and UI. So this also has to plug in here. So it should look like this. So this is show mouse cursor. So this is going to show the mouse when we actually go into a trigger box so that we can move it around, click on certain objects. And from here, we are going to cast to game. What did I call this? This is event game mode, right? Yeah, probably should have remembered that, but we're going to go call cast to event game mode, and the object is going to be get game mode. And then from here, we actually have to go into our event game mode. And I know this can seem really weird, but just try to do the steps that I'm doing exactly, because there is a couple, like a bunch of little weird things, but don't worry about it. The only thing you need to do in this event game mode is create an event dispatcher. And we're going to call this press button. So this is what I was talking about at the beginning, where the level blueprint can't call the widget, but it can call the game mode, and the widget can also call the game mode. So you're going to have three parts. You're going to have the levels blueprint, which is kind of where everything is happening. Then you are going to have the game mode, which is just a bridge between the level blueprints and the widget, so that when we are in the level blueprints, we can see the button and we can click on it and everything. Just because in the previous videos, we were just calling on the widget. We didn't have to interact with it. So to interact with it, that's why we have to do this extra step. So let's compile this. We can close this down now. And now this is going to be call pressed button. So if you drag off of this, you should see this event here. And there we go. And so now this widget should be set up. Let's just say call button event. Okay, so I feel like the hard part is over. Now we can go back in the level blueprints, which is a place that we were a little bit more familiar with. That was kind of the hard part of this tutorial is over now, I think. At least I hope. Trigger box. Let's go here. Go up. So whenever our player walks in here, a certain event will be called. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the level blueprints. I'm going to say create a reference to the trigger box. So make sure the trigger box is selected so that when you come in here, you can just right click, create a reference. We'll drag that out of the way for now. Not even sure if we need that particular one, but let's do event overlap, begin overlap. We are going to create a widget, and that widget is the button. And then we right click return value. Maybe we just rename this so it's clear. Call this button widget, and then add to viewport. So then from here, we can cast to event game mode. And again, like this, we have to get game mode. And then we are able to bind event to button press. This plugs in here. From here, we right click, we pull off here and go create, add custom event. That's what I was looking for. Not create, it's add. So from here, I'll just rename this to button pressed. And just to make sure that things are working, actually, I'm going to disconnect this one for now, just so we can compile it. Let's hit play. So we'll pop this out. New editor window. Now let's walk over here. We want to make sure that when we walk over to this box, the button pops up. So right now, this is kind of the issue I was saying, where like I can kind of move my mouse around, but I'm not seeing the cursor. So that's the part that we are going to get to in a moment. So we go here and remove all widgets. And then we are going to create a new widget, because once we get to this point, then we can remove the old one, because we click the button will disappear, and then we will have our text pop up. So we can also promote this one. We call this text widget, and then we add to viewport. So this is sort of complete. There's still some things that we have to go in and tweak, but it is getting there. So now, something that I should have mentioned before. So there was one step that I missed. That should be clicked on. So show mouse cursor. The show mouse cursor should be on, because in the last part, what I noticed is that I just forgot to check that off. So what was happening is I was walking in and then I just couldn't see my mouse cursor. But now if I walk over here, this will appear. I click here and it's not working, even though everything is set up. And oh my God, did this take me a long time to figure out why this was happening. This is another thing. It's like, I don't completely understand why it does this. Maybe it's just the way that it's set up, but basically what's happening is the game mode override. This is basically taking control of the character. So this is, no matter what I do to this game mode, first person game mode is going to override it. Basically, long story short, the first person game mode is not anything that special, at least to my knowledge. So what we can do is we can just go and find in the drop down the event game mode, hit play, and now the information that we are acquiring will show up. I think you could just put the event dispatcher into the first person game mode, but I wanted just to get you a little more comfortable with making your own game mode because it is very simple. It sounds more complicated than it is, and it'll just give you some control over it. So let's give this a try. Click me. That was easy. So that is going to be the end of the tutorial. As I said, I didn't want to get anything too crazy. It can be a little bit tricky because it's kind of weird to wrap your head around how you have to have the level blueprints or just blueprints in general. Like if you have it on a cube or something, which is something we will get into, the game mode or the widget. So these three things are what you kind of have to combine to make a simple button, and it can be a little bit weird. So we're going to be building on that in the next couple of videos, working our way up to changing materials and then doing that kind of from an ArchViz perspective. And that's the last thing that I really want to teach people before we get into the actual ArchViz portion, where we are going to be doing light maps, that kind of stuff. Light maps, maybe I won't get it too far into, because basically as soon as I figure out a few things with Lumen, I'm probably going to switch over to that. All the stuff I'm teaching you right now is applicable to Unreal Engine 4 and 5. Nothing you're going to learn right now is going to be wasted knowledge, except maybe some of the stuff to do with global illumination. So I might stay away from that. If you found this video helpful, though, I'd really appreciate it if you could give it the thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. This channel is obviously quite small. This is probably going to be more of a niche channel because I don't think a lot of my viewers actually do want to see Unreal Engine. That's why the people that are interested in it, I do recommend that you subscribe to this account, and we're going to have a lot of fun on this channel. Honestly, this is the channel that I think is going to be doing the coolest stuff as we move forward with Luminous Labs, because I do think that Unreal Engine is going to play a massive role in our company in the future. So I am really excited to get better at this and learn Unreal Engine with all of you. For now, though, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.